Hello and welcome, everyone. The world of cryptocurrency is hotter than ever. Some call Bitcoin the future of money, but why is there this mystery aspect to cryptocurrency? I can see a lot of question marks in the audience already. Why are governments wary of this phenomena? What on earth is decentralized distributed ledger? And is it safe to invest your hard-earned money in the world of crypto? I'd like to welcome you all to our session, Hydra Heads, the rollercoaster world of cryptocurrencies, and what India should do about it. Joining me on stage is Sumit Gupta, co-founder and CEO, CoinDCX, Sathvik Vishwanath, co-founder and CEO, UnoCoin, Kunal Nandwani, uTrade Technologies, Sanjay Mehta, founder and partner, 100x VC, Ashish Singhal, co-founder and CEO, CoinSwitch Kuber, and, of course, my colleague, Abha Bakaya. Join us as we demystify the world of crypto for you. I've been waiting to say this. Let the crypto games begin.
Thank you, Ayush. And don't worry, you don't have to memorize any of the jargon before you go home today. The idea is to really help demystify what this world of crypto is, and this is the best panel to do that for us today. Sitting right next to me is Sumit, who is heading India's first crypto unicorn. That gives you a sense of the kind of growing size of this market, and this is not something that's going to go away. All the naysayers apart, all the experts around the world that have been trying to do away with this theory, saying it's just a fad, have been proven wrong time and again. So Sumit, tell us, what is crypto? First of all, is it a currency? Is it an alternate currency? Is it an investment class? How would you define crypto?
Sure, Abha, you've mentioned a very interesting point. Crypto now is like big enough. You have two unicorns sitting right here. That shows how immortal, like the heads of Hydra it is, right? It has become so mainstream that people across the street are now talking about it. And like you asked, right, whether it is a currency or asset is a very common question. The way I see it is crypto is more like an asset class, a store of value. It is not a currency. Why? Because of two reasons. One is when you talk about currency, right, it holds the value. It is not fluctuating in nature. It is independent or has minimal interference with the market dynamics, right? When we talk about crypto, it's more like a store of value. We have seen a lot of liquidity coming into the system. People are parking their money in crypto as a store of value. So it's more like an asset class where people are using this asset class to diversify their portfolio and to grow their wealth over time.
Okay, so why invest in crypto versus equities? Why when the stock markets are at record levels, would I not go in and invest in something that's known?
Very, very good point. So generally the fundamental rule of investing is you don't put all the eggs in one basket. You have to diversify. Crypto is emerging as a new age asset class, and people are, or not just retail people, I think institutions are also looking to diversify into crypto. Having a small, very small part of their portfolio in crypto, whether it is 0.1%, 1%, 2%, 5%, depending upon the risk appetite, this has largely shown good overall returns. Just for example, if you look at equity markets like stocks, mutual funds, they are directly linked, but crypto is more like a different, which is not directly linked with the other asset classes like real estate and gold. It gives a very smart portfolio diversification. That is why you've seen big institutions like PayPal, MicroStrategy putting billions of dollars into crypto.
Millions of dollars into crypto. And what's interesting about this panel is we, of course, have the industry side. We also have investors out here as well, and the skeptics, and of course, people who are very optimistic about cryptocurrencies. Ashish, I want to come to you on this one. When we talk about cryptocurrencies, and the question marks on all our heads seem to come from the fact that there's a lack of awareness about it, right? And companies like yours, firstly, congratulations, becoming a crypto unicorn, and I guess you're the second one. We're on the panel, we are in the illustrious August company of crypto unicorns, but getting into that zone, when everyone wants to invest in a cryptocurrency or use an exchange or a platform like yours, the question marks that come about are about safety, are about what happens to my hard-earned money and which platform shall I pick?
No, and that's an amazing question, right? And cryptocurrency, by the nature of it, is democratic, right? Anyone, anywhere in India with a smartphone and an internet connection can be part of this revolution, starting with just rupees 100, right? But they have to choose the right platform, the right team behind it, the right security standards that the company follows, making sure their hard-earned money is always secure. So, before making your investment, the first step is to know what you're investing in, where, CoinSwitch and others are helping the industry grow from the knowledge standpoint. Second, choosing the right platform as well, making sure that you trust the platform and, probably that is CoinSwitch Kuber, and you trust the platform and, try and invest your hard-earned money. There, we take, one of the best cybersecurity measures in ensuring that the money put into the platform is secure for every one of our users.
Because this is very different from something else in the financial markets or even putting your money in a bank. I am relying on your platform, on your exchange for that safety, for that security. Just for our audience who perhaps might have more questions about crypto, and we have a very short timer on this panel. We have an investor sitting right beside you, and we're going to go to him next. But Ashish, if you had a 30-second elevator pitch right now to the audience to explain to them what is crypto and where does CoinSwitch come in, 30 seconds, simple English.
So crypto is the way for the future. The entire technology, the entire new generation is building companies on blockchain and on crypto. Crypto is a new asset class alongside with mutual funds, stocks, and other investment asset classes. Crypto, obviously being risky, is rewarding as well. And as an investor, you should build a comprehensive portfolio for yourself, crypto being a part of it. CoinSwitch today is a leading crypto player. Tomorrow, we want to evolve with our users, helping them diversify their investments as well into stocks, mutual fund, ETFs, US stocks, and giving users a more holistic investment ecosystem for their financial well-being.
Okay, so Sanjay, compare it for me. I know I'm harping on the same point, but the minute you say blockchain, I think a lot of people switch off and they're not quite sure what it means. They're still not sure what crypto means. Even if I do want to diversify and put a certain sum in crypto, would the most obvious thing that comes to mind is Bitcoin, right? But for an average person, to invest in Bitcoin may still take a lot more. Correct me if I'm wrong. So when you say 100 rupees, where are you putting those 100 rupees? Why is it riskier? How do I get to be an owner of a Bitcoin? What does it take?
So just to step back and what the question earlier was, if you look into the money side of it, previously we used to dig holes and put money, then the banks came in, suddenly, giving money to somebody else to keep it, is it safety? Then internet came in. Can I have an internet banking? Very similar. Yeah. This is an evolution, how you see across user journey, that the trust will start happening on the digital money and asset, which are going to be there. So even if you look into today, the businesses are basically tokenized with share certificates, right? Very similarly, these are all software, the blockchain companies, which are now digitized with these tokens. And you are actually buying that piece of it. Right? So it's very similar, but as you get educated, you will be able to understand this asset class more and more and invest into it.
So I know that you're very bullish on crypto, but not so bullish on Bitcoin. So take us through the reasoning. If I'm investing in crypto tomorrow, how do I decide where to step in?
I would say, just go across to CoinDCX, download the app, start buying. It's a simple app. They have a great learning called DCX Learn, where you can actually learn how crypto works and what are the ways to do a transaction. It takes little bit of education. See, financial education always takes you ahead. So it's just matter of some time, and it's very easy once you know how things work across. Initially, you will have some frictions, but it's then very easy. It's like holding everybody uses UPI, Beam app. As simple as the user interface, you can transact any crypto asset. 1 Bitcoin is divisible by 8, right? So once you have that kind of math, you can, buy for 200, 500, $1,000 also and own a crypto.
Sathvik, I want to bring you in over here because you like to call yourself a decentralization maximalist. Now that sounds confusing, but using that as a plank, I want to understand this whole bit about the underlying technology of cryptocurrency, which is a distributed ledger. Let's talk a little bit about blockchain, if you could explain it to our audience. And then also in the end, you could also plug in why you call yourself a decentralization maximalist.
Sure. So when we talk about centralization, right? So initially you have like a powerhouse or one decision maker or one entity or country, etc. And there are managers below them, and then there are sub-managers, and then there are workers and such. So that's how the entire ladder gets built. And apart from doing whatever work these people are designated to do, they have another important work, which is to make sure that they stay there, and or else climb one more step ahead. And in an attempt to do this, they usually get corrupt or co-opt very easily, and that is why whenever these kinds of systems are put in place, there is a lot of hanky-panky things that could happen behind the scenes. But when it comes to, say, decentralization, in a way, everyone is responsible collectively, but no one is responsible individually. So which means even if one person is trying to do something other than what the rest of them are trying to do, then they just gets excluded and the rest of the system will continue to exist, right? So this is exactly the concept that we have applied on Bitcoin's blockchain. And this concept has been so much successful, and it is very visible within the last 12 years or so. And the way the price of it has increased, or the way the adoption has increased, the way people have put trust in this kind of system, just shows that this method really have potential to keep growing.
So just to add across, if you look at Bitcoin, there are no employees, no shareholders, no owner. It's completely decentralized. And still it functions everything like a bank, right? So think across organizations which are going to be open source, decentralized, where there are no owners, no employees, no branch, no shareholders, but still are giving those functions. So it takes a visualization step, but this is how you need to start thinking about the future, where today no single entity is controlling Bitcoin. And very similar how other coins are also getting created, the cryptos are getting created, is all about decentralization.
Sanjay, exactly for these reasons, isn't that why governments around the world are so anxious and wary when you talk about cryptocurrencies? Obviously, we've seen the ban in China, but even in India, we're waiting for a regulatory framework, really, when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I'm guessing you guys are in talks with the government as well, but isn't that necessarily that decentralized form of technology which causes that anxiety about this, the uncertainty, the volatility? Investing my hard-earned money in one of these products, and God knows what happens and what comes of it.
Every financial product is prone to hacking, right? We have seen for wallets, we have seen for banks, credit cards. I mean, things go across. Securities, you will always see fringe elements being more smarter than the security guys, and that's why loopholes are created. But the way the government is controlled, internet, if you look into the ISP, the data which is flowing through the pipes, government is regulating it. Initially, internet was all free flow information, right? And then government started putting, as they understood what are the pitfalls, they started. Very similar, government will definitely put in regulation, and this will help the industry grow multi-folds once the regulation is in place. Internet was all about free transfer of information. Here, you are transferring assets without any control. That's the difference.
So I'm going to come to you as well, Kunal, but Sumit, I think you had a point, and I want to also add to what he's saying in terms of, do you see this as becoming a recognized currency going forward?
I see this as more of a new asset class, emerging asset class. Like investing in stocks used to be very risky 20 years back. Gold was once upon a time, it was illegal to buy gold or import gold. Now look where we are today, right? And if you look at crypto, right, I think one analogy you can see is with the advent of internet, it is now possible to transfer information from one point, any place in the world to any other country. It's just seamless. Within a matter of seconds, you can access any website, any tool, right? Information is freely available across the world. That has changed our life so much that we're using apps, we're using credit cards. It has made our life way more efficient. Now imagine, when it comes to value, we are still not able to transfer value across the globe very easily. There are a lot of restrictions in place that is making our traditional finance, which is the bank legacy systems, very inefficient. Now with this blockchain technology, also called as distributed ledger technology, it is making the world more decentralized. That means now you can freely transfer value from any point, any place in the world to any other place freely. Just imagine the impact it will make if you are able to transfer value. right? It has impact on financial system, it has impact on data security, it has impact on whatever you do on the internet. All your data will be protected. That is what value that the blockchain provides you. Now in terms of regulation, if you use blockchain properly, right, all our existing financial systems can be made much more efficient because they are not at a single point of failure is not there. It is not distributed. Risk is not concentrated on one place. Less corruption, higher transparency, better financial systems, more efficient way to transfer value over the multiple advantages. I am very, very certain that in India, it is going to get regulated and we'll see that in the times to come. It's just a matter of how to regulate it. And that is where education is important. Industry players and regulators needs to come together, have that open dialogue just like we are having today. And whatever apprehensions are there needs to be discussed and sorted out. Blocking that is actually going to do more harm, right? So regulation will happen, and I think that is the right way forward.
And in fact, it was really interesting because just earlier I was speaking to the panelists and they were kind of describing to me the wave of adoption that we're seeing here in India and how it's something that is only going to grow from here on. Kunal, tell us about that, the kind of pace at which we're seeing growth. You spoke about the increase in value over the years, but now the interest that's coming in from millennials all over the country.
So I think, especially in the last 1 year, markets have grown very well across asset classes. You look at equities, you look at real estate, you look at so many other asset classes. They've all grown actually, and cryptos are no different. Primarily also the core factor behind, besides digital adoption and COVID and other factors, is that US has printed close to $10 trillion. So that money has come into the markets, and that has to go somewhere. So the asset prices have gone up. That has helped in the adoption, early adoption of millennials, the early adopters of cryptos and many other asset classes, and that's good for the whole world. And you know, with these companies getting so much funding to be able to build a marketplace, to educate the market, work with the regulators, make an impact, that's great. I just want to come back on one point that, let me still explain the use case of Bitcoin. It's probably not necessarily any of us in the room. It's probably an illegal immigrant from Punjab running a taxi in New York, saving $100 a week. Today, if he wants to send $100 back to his village, hometown in Punjab, it cost him $30 from Western Union money transfer, takes 3 days. If Bitcoin were allowed, New York they're allowed, Punjab, arguably, eventually with regulation, it might be. If Bitcoin is allowed for that person to send $100 back on a weekly basis to his family hometown, who is unbanked, who's a part of the 4 billion people on the planet who are not well banked, who don't have UPI, who don't have Paytm, who don't have a credit card. Bitcoin is the romantic, utopian use case for those people, which unfortunately is not coming together in the short term of regulatory and the challenges we are facing. And there are reasons for it. You know, governments are not comfortable allowing another currency which they don't control, they don't tax, they don't track as yet. But Bitcoin, like everyone is saying, it's become one of those, more you bury it, it's more like a seed, more it grows. You know, China banning has changed nothing. Its adoption is still up, price is still up. You know, so it's one of those things you need to learn to live with, and in time it will find its own place among the fiat currencies. Bitcoin will have its play, and adoption is not a bad play for Indian government as well, to consider adopting it, to consider regulating it, making it more accessible to people, and if it's right, it works. If it's not, right?
It's interesting you mentioned that, Ashish, because now when we look, just tune into any OTT or any digital service and we see a bunch of ads, CoinDCX, CoinSwitch, and it's all over the place. And earlier you guys had the influencers doing your marketing, but the last week, even from a branding and marketing standpoint, we're seeing the likes of Ranveer Singh, Amitabh Bachchan. These are the guys you all are putting Sanjay and the other investor money to good use. So tell me about this. Is this a deliberate play to make this more mainstream? That awareness and that lack of awareness and education that we're talking about, is this the way to solve it and perhaps make it more ubiquitous and commonly used?
Let me take a step back here, right? Let me first explain you who the audience is which is investing into cryptocurrencies. When we think about crypto, we think, oh, it's too complex. Only the tier A, metro cities, population would be investing in it. Today, we have over 4,000 cities across India investing through CoinSwitch into cryptocurrencies. 55% of our audience, which is over 6 million, 60 lakh people, are coming from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, investing their hard-earned money, like $100, $200, $500 into cryptocurrencies. And I think why they are doing it, because they are the internet first generation. Their average age is about 25, right? They are the Gen Z population, the millennial population, and they're not behind US. Earlier, we used to be, 7 years behind US in catching up to any financial revolution. Today, we are right up there, right? They're learning from Twitter. They're learning, along with US, that this is going to be the new revolution, the new way the companies would be built in the future, the new way the technology would evolve in the future. And they're investing their hard-earned money through apps like us into cryptocurrencies. Getting Amitabh Bachchan, getting, Ranveer Kapoor, Ranveer Singh, help this industry a lot because they are familiar faces. They're trying to put out the message that this is simple as well, and there are few fundamentals that you need to look at while investing into cryptocurrencies. They attract the young population and urge the question that, don't stay on the sidelines. At least learn about it. Don't invest. If you don't want to invest, don't invest in it. But this is where the world is moving, and you should know about it, right? And this is the funda that, we as a company has taken to create
I think Sumit
education.
has a point to add to that as well.
Yeah, just one point to add. I think what Ashish was mentioning, right? There's a lot of first-time investor people that are investing. I think whenever I think about that, there's one thing that comes to mind, right? Because we talk about customer awareness, right? Crypto awareness. It's a new age asset class. A lot of people don't understand it. What we feel it's our responsibility as a industry players is also to educate about it. We don't need to just take crypto to the masses. We also need to take crypto to the classes, right? How do we educate people? How do we, so that is precisely the reason why I've got a personality like Mr. Amitabh Bachchan to tell people, to teach people, okay, what is the importance of diversifying your portfolio? Why do you need to invest in the future, right? Whatever you invest, really the amount doesn't matter. It's more about the learning. People in India should know what Bitcoin is. People should understand what blockchain is. I'm not talking about investing at all, right? That's just a way to get more returns. Keeping that aside, it's more important to understand what is happening in the world outside, because if we don't do that, India is such a massive country with so many millions of developers, right? Even if 1% of that start building, leveraging blockchain technology, India over the next decade is going to be a global powerhouse in terms of crypto and blockchain. We don't want to miss out on that opportunity because we have lost it when internet was coming up, right? Now all of these multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar companies are coming out of US. Why? These are Indians who are working in these companies and building those trillion-dollar companies. Why can't India do that? I think India should be at the forefront when it comes to this new technological revolution, and that can only happen with education, right education. Investing in is one part to it. But I think in order to make people aware and educate them about this new phenomena, I think that is why we need people like Mr. Amitabh Bachchan.
Yesterday, Mr. Junjunwala mentioned that this is bubble and vapor kind of. At least Mr. Bachchan can convince Mr. Junjunwala.
Maybe.
Sumit, it's interesting you mentioned that because you're talking about the underlying technology, which is blockchain. And often we miss the wood for the trees, because when you talk about crypto, blockchain by itself has several use cases in the BFSI space, in the fintech space, and I've seen a lot of companies now coming about in Bangalore and Mumbai who are utilizing blockchain that way, that distributed ledger technology. It's interesting running one of the biggest exchanges in the country and doing a stellar job at it. You're talking about the underlying technology. Can we expect you to diversify into other use cases?
Sure. So the problem that's happening right now, because crypto is not regulated, these underlying technology, the use cases are also not coming up because we feel that crypto is not good or crypto is not regulated. All of these entrepreneurs who want to leverage or harness the power of blockchain are not entering and doing business in India. They're eventually setting up the base outside country. That's leading to brain drain. That's leading to creating thousands or lakhs of opportunities, job opportunities outside the country. It should not happen. We have people, we have all the right ingredients in place in the country. It's a completely technological field. And India is a powerhouse. We have young, fearless, tech-savvy population. What if we just take these people and tell them about blockchain technology and start building these solutions ourselves? We get a lot of spam SMSs every day. With blockchain, you can eliminate that. We have a lot of these contracts which we are doing on paper, right? We can eliminate all of that and put that smart contract. India is not going to build all of these solutions until we regulate it. So regulation is the first step, educating people, working alongside policy makers, and then creating a positive, conducive environment so that crypto investment is one part. But apart from investment, you also want companies to be built on top of blockchain. That's missing in India, and people are scared to venturing out in this space. We have 2 unicorns sitting here. In the first half of 2021, we've got $2 billion investment in fintech alone. 20% of that came into crypto. 20% of that. And that is at a stage when the industry is not even regulated. Just imagine the kind of money, billions of dollars sitting outside the country waiting to come into India. The moment India regulates it, you will have billions of dollars fusing into Indian crypto companies, and then that will give rise to a lot of like GDP growth and a lot of job opportunities.
So we have limited time, so I'm going to come to all of you very quickly for closing comments. Sathvik, why don't you go?
Yeah, so when it comes to investing in cryptocurrencies, right? So till now, the number of customers that UnoCoin have, at least from what we have seen, so more than 70% of them, they themselves never call them as investors. So they are putting money and dipping their feet for the first time in their lifetime. And these are the ones who are investing somewhere between 200, 500 or up to 5,000 rupees. And the average check size of like how much customer invests goes as long as about 8,000 to 10,000 rupees. So when it comes to this Bitcoin and blockchain and even India, right? So I believe these are the kinds of match made in heaven. Because so why do I say that? It's because on one side we have India, where we move towards digitization. Then we want to move transactions happening in digital way, and it's one of the saving mentality because like gold is one of the major asset classes that we have here. And then we have very good tech savvy population, and then there is a very good penetration of smartphones. Then there is internet penetration, and it's one of the biggest incoming remitters from other countries. So all of them, put together, India has a lot to gain by embracing this kind of technology, and I believe it will stay that way.
Kunal?
So I would be cautiously optimistic on cryptos and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only one where there is no CEO, there's nobody in the middle. It's Satoshi Nakamoto. The best thing he did for Bitcoin was never come forward. In every other coin, there is somebody in the middle. So there is a bit of centralization within the decentralization. But I would highly encourage everyone to learn about it, make your own decision, whether you want to invest or not, that's secondary. But don't do, I often get asked this question that everyone is doing it, must be right. Please don't fall for that. Everyone is doing it, doesn't make it right. 1999, everyone was doing .com stocks. 2007, everyone was doing credit products in US. Lehman Brothers happened. So do it for the right reasons, but do learn about it. It's a great thing. You must be aware. And then do the right thing. Eventually, just don't go for the market hype. Just don't go only for the returns. But if you really believe it could be part of your portfolio diversification, definitely consider it.
Sanjay, before you do close, I do know you have a particular view on gold diggers when it comes to the crypto space. If you could add that in your final comments.
Yeah, so I'm an investor, so I don't build companies like these folks. I just invest. So I've been very skeptical. There are a lot of gold diggers with the kind of bull run which is happening across. You will see across people coming to you, okay, I'm launching a coin, I will be doing this blockchain story, give me money, and people fall for it. So you need to evaluate every possible token or cryptocurrency. There are thousands of them, and each one has a use case. So spend some time, but I mean, while I am an investor into it, the way I look upon is my risk is 1x, upside is unlimited in this space. So the way to go about is to do the right diligence on the team, the use case, the solution around it, and then take a punt on what token you want to buy across. And each token has different use cases. Read the white papers. There's a lot of content and data available. Please try to go through that whole content and take this up as a learning exercise. Possibly if you are an equity investor, you should be entering into this asset classes the way I would recommend.
So as a closing thought, right, that I think cryptocurrency as a name itself is a misnomer. We should start calling it crypto assets because it's not going to be the currency use case which going to be changed through cryptocurrencies. But what's going to change is the next revolution, the next Google, the next Facebook, the next Twitter would be built on blockchain and hopefully from India. I'm very, very hopeful that it happens and creating a global impact. And we as retail investors get to invest in these companies from day one, looking at what the team is behind, what the team is doing, and investing in the future of these companies from day one itself, right? So I think classifying it as asset, crypto assets are here to stay. Regulations are the only way going forward, and hopefully with the government understanding the space and engaging with people like the innovators in the industry would be able to regulate and formalize this industry as we go on.
Absolutely, and for everyone tuned in, of course, this was only one short and power-packed panel on cryptocurrency. The crypto boom is here. It's here to stay, like he said. On Business Today and India Today, we will be covering this extensively, and we have been over the past few weeks. Abha on her show especially.
Absolutely, and we look forward to continuing to do that. Now we're monitoring the space very closely with our partners. So hope you all enjoyed the session, and these gentlemen will be around for a while because I know some of you may have questions backstage, but 2 unicorns in the crypto world already here in India. That's a big deal. A big round of applause, everyone, please. Thank you so much.